morning. I'd like to call this special meeting of the Southampton Town Board to order on this first day of October 2020. Please rise if you're able and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's do a brief moment of silence as we are constantly reminded that we are still in the midst of a pandemic that has now taken the lives of 1 million people around the world, including, I think, 205,000 or so here in our own country, 206,000. Every time you turn on the TV, it's a different number. So we're not out of this yet. We have to be vigilant. We have to continue to social distance, wear masks, and take all the necessary precautions as we wait for a vaccine or better treatments. So with that in mind, all the people who have died from the coronavirus, let's pause in their memory in a brief moment of silence. Okay, please be seated. Madam Clerk, would you read the special meeting notice followed by a roll call?
Members of the Town Board, special Town Board meeting Thursday, October 1st, 2020 at 10 a.m. Please be advised that pursuant to Section 62 of Town Law, a special Town Board meeting will be held in the Town Board Meeting Room, Southampton Town Hall, 116 Hampton Road, Southampton, New York, on Thursday, October 1st, 2020 at 10 a.m. for the purpose of considering the following: reject bids for North Sea Beach Colony Beach Erosion Control District, resolution authorizing access and indemnity agreement as it relates to dredging at North Sea Harbor, authorize rental of equipment from Suffolk County contract with Chesterfield Associates, ratify employee suspension and appoint hearing officer, amend town remote work policy. J. Schneiderman, Supervisor, Town of Southampton, dated September 29th, 2020.
All right, thank you. And roll call, please.
Supervisor Schneiderman.
Here.
Councilwoman Lofstad.
Here.
Councilman Martell.
Here.
Councilman Bouvier.
Here.
Councilman Schiavone.
Present.
All right, thank you. And the special meeting, we will then follow with the work session. A number of the items scheduled for this special meeting do deal with the North Sea Beach Colony. And we do have some people here, including Aaron Tertunian and Kathleen Murray, Deputy Town Attorney, who can answer questions or introduce these matters to you. Let me start, though, with a public portion. Is there anyone who wishes to be heard in public portion? All right, seeing none, I'll make a motion to close public portion.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so let's just talk briefly before we begin about what's going on up in North Sea Beach Colony. If you all remember, we created an erosion control district over there, a tax district, to help renourish the beach in that area. We even went ahead with the bond for that, and the people in their tax bills are now carrying the costs associated for that. There was a project that was developed that was the project that bond was based upon, which was to take sand, I want to say 15,000 cubic yards, I could be wrong, from Towed Point, and move it over to the North Sea Beach Colony area using, I think what's called the hopper dredge. That we went out to bid for that project. The bids came in above the number. And what we're being asked to do today is to reject the bids, but not to rebid it, but to do the project in a slightly different manner. The county is going to be out there very soon dredging the creek there, and they will be placing roughly the same amount of sand, I think around 15,000 cubic yards, on property belonging to Druckenmiller. What this project envisions is taking the sand that's going to be deposited in front of Druckenmiller, and using payloaders to sort of push it down the beach. So you can see in the aerial over the in the vicinity of the North Sea Beach Colony. It's actually will be less money than the original project. It will eliminate some of the concerns that people in the Tout Point area had about removing some of that material. It'll provide, hopefully will leave some money left over for your future work in that area. I'm sure I've left some things out. So Aram or Kathleen, do you want to, Kathleen, maybe tell us procedurally why we have a number of resolutions related to this, what the distinction is?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Good morning, members of the town board. I think you did a very good job of summing that up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Really, in terms of process, you have to reject the bids, and the supervisor is correct in that now we're going off of a state bid, a state or county? County bid, which we're allowed to use without having to go back out to bid. That's with Chesterfield, so that's helpful. And I think, you know, what came out of the county dredging last year and what's coming this year was more sand than we had anticipated, which is a good thing. So this is an opportunity to do the project at a little bit of a lesser cost for the taxpayers.
And now the trustees have reviewed this?
The trustees have reviewed it. I do have a letter signed by them. I can circulate that. I have a copy here dated September 29th, and that's as it relates to indemnifying and agreeing. I don't know if you remember, we've done this a few years now, indemnifying the property owners where the sand will be placed, Mr. and Mrs. Druckenmiller. It's also known as Holmes Hill, and it's just easiest with the dredging equipment that the county has to place the sand there. But they have cooperated with us. We have an agreement with them. The resolution today would authorize Jay to sign, the supervisor, to sign that agreement, and then also for the town to indemnify them as property owners in case there are any issues.
And the two property owners, the Druckenmillers, have agreed to this?
They have, yes. I'm
Okay.
working with Gil Flanagan as their local counsel and Jerry Kerner. The agreement is very similar to the one that we executed last year, just a little bit of tweaks here and there, but for the most part, it's the same.
Do the tweaks have anything to do with the increase in volume on their property? They're fully aware of?
So, yes, so as part of the agreement, we do leave some of the cubic yards on Holmes Hill to benefit them. That is the consideration that they are receiving for allowing us to take it from that spot and to allow it to be dropped there by the county.
I mean, the county would drop it right in front of North Sea Beach Colony if they had the equipment that would allow for that. This other property is obviously much closer, and that's why that property is the beneficiary of all this sand. They have a pretty healthy beach, though, already in front of the Druckenmiller property, but North Sea Beach Colony has little to no beach.
Correct. Yeah.
Aram, did I leave anything out? Did I get the volume sort of close?
And can I ask Kathleen when Aaron is done to come back? How are you?
Or first, go ahead.
So just, you're saying it's less than the original project, but the impact, the tax impact on North Sea Beach Colony does not change?
It could, Councilwoman Lofsted. So we don't have the final figures right now, but the bond has already been approved and authorized. The taxpayers have already been taxed 1 year. It's a 5-year bond, the life of it. They've already been taxed 1 year last year. This will be their second year. Mm-hmm. If at the end of this project it comes in lower than the bond amount, which is $340,000, we can give either in the last year lessen the amount of tax that's raised, or actually give them monies back. It would likely be that we would lessen that last year of the amount of monies raised, so that they don't have to pay that tax, and we just pay down the bond with the money we have.
Understood. And I just have one more quick question. So as you know, I did not support the North
Yes.
Sea Beach Colony ECD. This next resolution about the dredging, is that, I mean, I read through it, but I just want to know, is it particularly about the dredging, or is it more about the indemnifying Druckenmiller?
It's both. It is both. So in the first instance, it's indemnifying them.
Okay.
But to be clear, we are using that sand to feed the North Sea beach. So you should know that.
Okay. Because I certainly support dredging.
I understand.
Yeah, okay. All right, thank you.
Okay. Let's trade places there.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor, members of the town board. Aram Tertunian, First Coastal Corporation, West Hampton Beach, New York. I'm the consultant for the town in the North Sea Beach Colony Beach Erosion Control District. I'd just like to say, first and foremost, you have two superstars working for you, in Kathleen Murray and Allison Mancuso, who have really stepped up in the last couple of months of complicated situations. They went above and beyond, and they really have crafted a terrific procedure to execute this project at a lesser cost for the taxpayers. So they've really done a tremendous job, and I want to thank you guys publicly for what you've done. I'd also like to thank the Druckenmiller family, who have been terrific partners over the last couple of years. We've worked very, very well with their local council and their New York council, but the Druckenmillers themselves have just been very gracious, very understanding, and just excellent partners, along with Suffolk County, who are the people doing the work. So I just want to make sure that all those people get recognized for the things that they're doing. This project is really a project born out of opportunity, in the sense of when we looked at the original bid numbers, we were pretty disappointed. But a couple of things changed just in the last 10 to 12 months with Suffolk County, one of which is that they purchased a bigger dredge. And this dredge is a 14-inch dredge that allows them to move the material significantly farther than they ever had in the past. So it enabled them to move more material a farther distance. So last year, they were able to dredge 15,000 cubic yards from the channel and place it on the beach in front of Holmes Hill on the Druckenmiller property. That accomplished two things. Number one, it established a 5,000 cubic yard stockpile, which can be used for the North Sea Beach Colony project. But number two, it's a tremendous proof of concept, because the amount of material they placed along the shoreline they placed is almost exactly our project in front of North Sea Beach Colony. And there is a report that we've issued. I apologize, I don't have hard copies to give you, but I will circulate to the board a post-dredging report that we did for the ECD and for the Druckenmillers. And there's an aerial photo in there where it's just so obvious how well this project has, this disposal has performed as basically a test for what our project is going to look like.
Just to clarify something, so this project, although there might be some sand that's currently there that gets moved, but this project isn't about moving the sand that was placed last year there. It's about moving sand that's going to be placed there imminently.
No, it's both.
It's both?
It's both. So our project is 15,000 cubic yards. That's our project design. So we were looking the least cost way to get that amount of material. So we had done combinations of some from Towed Point, some from the stockpile in front of the Holmes Hill. What's happened is, as a consequence of the county's change in equipment, they're going to be able to dredge another 15,000 yards this year, which in the arrangement that the town has reached with the Druckenmiller family, 10,000 yards of that will be available to the ECD, as well as the 5,000 from last year, which brings us to our project amount. So what we're looking at is an opportunity we didn't have a year ago, let alone 2 or 3 years ago. And again, I want to really congratulate and thank Kathleen and Allison, because when we saw all these moving parts together, they jumped right on it and scoured state bidding lists, county bidding lists, and reiterated and investigated this project about 7 different ways before we arrived at what's in front of you today.
Aaron, could you just speak to the time sensitivity here? Because I called a special meeting because it couldn't wait another week or two. So can you explain why this is time sensitive?
Well, and I definitely will. Thank you for bringing that up, and thank you and the board for meeting, because the dredging window opens today in Suffolk County, and it closes in the middle of January. So there were a very limited amount of time to get this work done, and the county has slated to go to work within the next couple of weeks, certainly before the 1st of November, to do the project. So we need all of these pieces in place before that they're going to be willing to show up and execute.
Okay.
Aaron?
Yes, sir.
Good morning. Thank you for being here. Will the county be moving this, the ebb tide delta outside of the channel? That's something that members of the North Sea Beach Colony and Towns Point were concerned about, that the delta that had formed, and it's actually creating a deep water channel near the beach.
Right.
It's a swift-moving channel, and is that where the sand is coming from?
Some of the sand will be coming from there. The authorized channel goes much deeper into North Sea Harbor, so the bulk of the material is actually coming out of the interior part of the channel. But certainly some of that ebb tide delta will be dredged. The authorized channel doesn't go as far seaward as, quite frankly, we need it to. So I think moving forward, with our partnership with the county and with the Druckenmillers, I think we should talk about amending their permits to extend that authorized channel farther to the north.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.
Okay. So let's then get into the agenda here, and if additional questions come up, though there might be, we might go back to the same individuals, or there might be some other individuals that we'll need. All right, so let's go to 802 of 2020, rejecting bids for North Sea Beach Colony Beach Erosion Control District nourishment.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Martell. All in favor? Aye.
I'm going to abstain.
And one
Aye.
and one abstention. Would the clerk note Councilman Lofstad's abstention, and the resolution is approved. Okay, 803 of 2020, resolution authorizing access and indemnity agreement as it relates to dredging at North Sea Harbor. Is there a second by Councilman Scivone?
On the motion?
On the motion, Councilwoman Lofstad.
Just as I said, I did not support originally the ECD project, and although I absolutely support dredging of North Sea Harbor because it's all kind of intermingled, I am going to abstain on this as well, and the other dredging one.
Okay, so, all right, so all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Abstain?
One abstention, Councilwoman Lofstad. And Resolution 803 is approved. Resolution 804 of 2020 authorized the rental of equipment from the Suffolk County contract for construction equipment and dredging services with Chesterfield Associates.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Martell. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain?
All right, would the clerk note Councilwoman Lofstad's abstention?
Thank you.
And that was also approved by the remaining four members. Moving on to Resolution 805 of 2020. This is on a different topic here.
Those are the previous four were related to the first subject.
Was it?
I'm sorry, those are, you're done with the resos, read this.
Right. So we're up to 805 of 2020, ratify employee suspension and appoint hearing officer.
Second.
This has to do with the deputy highway superintendent, seconded by Councilman Martell, who's liaison to highway. Any questions? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Approved. 806 of 2020 amends the town remote work policy.
Second.
Second, I could just on a motion, just briefly go through some of these changes. There, I believe, are three changes. The first, remote work is something that a lot of companies are doing even without COVID, but because there are some benefits in terms of a lot of employees are clogging up the roads, a lot of employees are spending a lot of their time sitting in traffic. There are some advantages to being able to work from home. Some jobs you absolutely can work from home and be as productive, if not more productive. But certainly in an era of a pandemic, reducing risk of those individuals and risk of other individuals and the public to the spread of coronavirus, it makes sense. We had adopted a work from home policy for those employees that could do it, where their supervisor said, yes, you can work from home, it won't interrupt the performance of duties for this department, up to 50%. Not everybody could take advantage of it. Obviously, some jobs you can't do from home. You can't, plow a road from home. But we had in the original policy said the child had to be under 14. In further review, I think we recognize that it's very difficult to leave a 15 or 16 or even 17-year-old kid at home all day and expect that person to prepare their own meals, expect that person to stay on the computer learning at school. So we decided that to raise that age to younger than 18, so basically an unaccompanied minor. So that's change one. And the second change has to do with if you are denied your request to work from home, instead of having 5 days, you'll now will have 10 days to challenge that determination. And lastly, there's some language put in here that the town board will consider the appeal expeditiously. So there was no language before, so we didn't want it to linger too long before the town board got back to the employee with the status of their challenge. So that's it. All right. Any questions on that? All right. So there was a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The second?
You seconded, right?
Oh, Tommy John.
Oh, maybe you're right. Councilman Scavone, thank you. I forgot as well. Okay, so that's the main packet. There's a couple more, so these, I guess, will technically are walk-ons then. So we're going to have to make a motion to add them as soon as I find them. Here we go. All right, there are two other resolutions I'm going to ask you to consider. This is 34-891, authorizing the Justice Court to apply for grant funding to support Justice Court operations through the New York State Unified Court System 2020 through 21 Justice Court Assistance Program. And then also 34-896, which reappoints David Riley to the Board of Assessment Review. David has been serving as chair. That's, that's a designation that the board itself will make. But this would give David an additional 5-year term. He expired, I think his term expired yesterday. All right. So I'll make a motion to walk those two on.
Second?
Seconded by Councilwoman Lofstad. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right, so they are now eligible. So 34-891, co-sponsored with Rick Martell. Councilman Martell authorizes the Justice Court to apply for grant funding to support Justice Court operations through the New York State Unified Court System 2020 to 2021 Justice Court Assistance Program.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Martell. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved. 34896 reappoints David Riley to the Board of Assessment Review.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved. Congratulations, David, and thank you for your service. All right. So that gets us to the end. Is there any other business? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to adjourn our special meeting.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. Okay.